Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Facing the Music with Terry Oldfield. My name is John Valdivia, producer at idesound.com. This series, curated from candid conversations, will introduce a return to the mystery and wonder of existence, as well as our necessity to confront ourselves. We shall also feature selected pieces from Terry's extensive musical anthology. In this episode, Terry shares his experience losing his eye and how it required an adaptation that helped him to connect even deeper to the present moment. Welcome to Facing the Music.
The night that I spent in the hospital after the operation was just a complete nightmare. I got up and tried to walk, and my balance wasn't there. A horrible experience, but it was something that I just had to go through. Going back to relationships, you can put up with enormous amount of stuff if you've got this sense of duty and responsibility that you think you're doing the right thing. But when you suddenly don't have an arm or a leg or something and you can't move, I couldn't see. My right eye is the one I lost. This is my right eye. But that was my dominant eye. And that was the one that was the good eye, I'm now left with a left eye that sort of is a supportive to the right eye, but it's gone. But I still have to have glasses because I can't. I always had perfect vision again, and I used to pride myself on having perfect vision. So again, they say pride comes before a fall. It's such a different way of living, but I do everything that I used to do now. But it took me several years to get used to it. Yeah, it took me years. A full year before I could feel comfortable just walking around. I've been fly fishing twice in remote areas on my own since then with one eye. I didn't think it would be possible to do that. And now we're considering getting a couple of mountain bikes, Soraya and I can't see anything on that side, but it's okay. It'll be all right. We've got this rather sweet way of doing things like walking around airports or in crowds. She always goes on my right side and holds my hand, so I don't have to worry about the right. It's a bit like, losing a way of living. You've got something which is irrevocably gone, that side of my vision, and I have to adapt to living in a different way. But the grief was definitely very powerful, and I think it helped me again. I think it was a helpful thing in retrospect because it put me in a place where everything was very close. And I was in the present moment. I had to be really focused. I kept bumping into things, and it gave me that physical presence that perhaps I wasn't completely incarnated yet. Even after 60 years, I wasn't fully on this earth. And it took a few bumps and collisions to fully ground me back into, even now, I walk down my studio steps, I have to put my foot down and put the other foot down. We went for a walk yesterday, Soraya and I, in the rainforest, and, it's several kilometers of muddy, rocky terrain. Now, I haven't got traditional depth perception, so I have to look at the contours and keep my head moving and to see where the steps are and the rocks, and occasionally I notice if my attention wanders, I make a mistake, and I can't afford that. because I'm actually really focused in a physical way. So that's helped me in that respect, because we can get a bit blasé about these bodies knowing their way around and all that, I'm very lucky to have Soraya as a partner, because she's younger than me, and she has a different energy too, and that helps me to push and do certain things that I probably might hesitate to do. Like run events. She's got more of an incentive to run events and set up trips to India and have online Facebook launches. It's the sort of thing I probably wouldn't do. We've reached a point where we are just so comfortable in each other's company that we are also comfortable away from each other. There's a total freedom, you see. There's no dependence on each other. Like if I die, I know she'll be fine. I insist that she doesn't mourn me, And of course, last year, Soraya broke her ankle. And she went through several months of not being able to walk properly, so we had to adapt to that. And that was pretty full on, I even made her a little crawl way from the bed to the bathroom so that she could slide out of bed and crawl to the bathroom in the night and then crawl back to bed. She couldn't put any weight on it, you see, for many weeks. And so we had all this extra little problem solving. But we worked on it together, that's the thing. And having a best friend is great. When you're in situations like that, you can help each other in the highest sense of the word. I've often heard people say that they met their life partner at a point when they were most content with being alone. I mean, that's quite a common story in my experience, that I was really completely happy just on my own, and then they came. That's another, I've given up looking for a partner, or whatever, because I'm content. Being alone is the giving up. That is the giving up. You don't go and do a seminar how to give up. It's so subtle, this thing we're talking about, but it works in every area. It's totally reliable. It's totally simple. It's just being with what is. And there's no way of being with what is. There's no way to do that other than to be with what is. You see that? And that's the end of the spiritual search. And it's the discovery of the golden fleece. It's everything that is sought, coming to a conclusion in that end of seeking. Did we ever talk about the Nordic god Odin and how he went to see this seer in some cave in order to gain knowledge? Well, you have to give me your eye, one of your eyes. If you want the knowledge, you have to give me your right eye. It's interesting because I've always been aware of the Pleiades as a group of stars. I call them my traveling stars because every time I look up in the sky, there's the Pleiades. I remember them from India, traveling everywhere in the world. There's many stories in those Norse myths about the Pleiades and connection to Odin. And also, Soraya is another name for Pleiades. It's the Persian name for Pleiades, yeah. You know, all these things tie together, and reading this Robert Monroe book, that's the way it seems to be in his discoveries as well, that everything is sort of linked together in, you know, I there, you know, linking this to that. Just things need revamping and re-experiencing in order to be completed. And that's the whole concept of karma and reincarnation, in that you keep repeating until you get it, till it's fully experienced. It seems like consciousness wants to wring the sponge out. You know, you've got to get everything out of this scenario that it possibly can. And if it isn't allowed to, through dying early or perhaps having some resistance to the experience through fear, it'll just keep coming up and up and up, just like in smaller ways in relationships in this lifetime. You know, you get people who keep attracting the same kind of partner over and over again. It happens a lot. And I think that I attracted that into my life as well in my early years. I really did. But if we could just see that that is the way things are, that's the norm. Instead of it being a special thing that happens, unusual thing that happens, it's the norm. You know, treat something as normal and it becomes part of your life nice and easily. One of the hardest things I've ever had to face is normality. Oh God, there's nothing much going on, you know, I think this is boring. That's the worst thing I've ever had to face, because I want life to be exciting and interesting, but sometimes it's just blur, nothing much going on. You know, it's a bit, in order to transcend that, the judgment of the moment has to come to an end. We say this is boring, this is not, this is good, this is bad. You know, it's that the commentary, and it's the internal dialogue that has to stop. Because until the internal dialogue dies back, it doesn't stop, but it dies back into the background, and it doesn't take over the innate, immediate perception of what's passing through here. It's not boring anymore. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. Also to do with, you know, I'm not getting anywhere with my work, or, oh God, she doesn't love me anymore, you know, all that sort of stuff. You know? It's, I haven't got enough money, I hate my hair, whatever it is. That's all the resistance that we talk about. It's just the same in all of us, and it's not Terry, it's not John, it's not anybody that's having resistance. It's just the functioning of the mind when it's in the forefront, in a place where it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be up there, up front. It's supposed to be in looking after the running of the stuff that needs knowledge.
Thank you for listening to Facing the Music. We want to extend our gratitude for your company today. For enriching context and further insight into our series, do visit ithesound.com/Terry. We have provided all the pertinent information in the description. For those interested in delving deeper into Terry's compelling journey, his biography, Only Now, is readily available on all major online bookstores. It is an intimate and insightful account of a life dedicated to music and spiritual awakening. Lastly, please visit terryoldfield.com to stay up to date with Terry's latest endeavors. Once again, thank you for your time. This is John Valdivia from ithesound.com.